I welcome you all in the session, and so topic of this session is aspects in project preparation. And you are well aware that projects are the building block of a development activity in a country. They are basically investment plan. They are the activity designed to undertake the development activity in a country. So today we are going to discuss about what are the different aspects which we need to consider when we develop the projects, when we prepare the projects, and why there is importance of these aspects which we need to consider while developing a project or while developing a plan or implementation plan of a project. The projects is basically an investment activity meant for providing the returns for a specific clientele group or a specific activity and for a specific area development. So they are the basically investment activities, and the purpose is to get some returns for a specific clientele group or through a specific activity, and in that actually we want to achieve some specific objectives for a particular area. And there are different aspects which need to consider, we must consider actually in all stages of the project planning or an implementation. And actually the purpose of this aspect, by considering of these different aspects, is to develop the sound project which can results what we want, actually what we intend. So in order to arrive a very good project, a sound project, a worthwhile project, we need to consider different aspects in the project planning. These are the different aspects which we need to consider. One is the technical aspect, the institutional aspect, the organizational aspect, managerial aspect, social aspect, the commercial aspect, financial aspect, and economic aspect. So these are the 8 different aspects which we need to consider at every stage of the project preparation, every stage of the project implementation, and even the evaluation aspect also. We have to consider all these aspects. So let us start with the technical aspect actually. And this technical aspect basically is related to technical feasibility of the project. So here we assess any project is having the technical feasibility. It is whether we have the viability in the area, the project is implementable in the area, and here basically we see the different types of inputs required and the output actually we want to get from the project. So we discuss or we talk about the different activities, the inputs, the outputs, and we see that technical information about the inputs and output under the technical aspects. And when we talk about the agriculture project, we have to examine the soil types of the region or their potential, whether soil is fertile or not. If soil is not fertile, how we can improve the soil, then availability of waters, and even not only the availability, but we have to also see the distribution of water throughout the years, and how if water is not available, how we can develop, how we can make available the water in the area. Then we have to look about the crop varieties or livestock breeds in the area, or the varieties or breeds which are suitable in the area. Then we have to also look about the potential for the mechanization. So is there any mechanization possible in the area? If the landholder size is very small, we cannot go for the high or big machinery. And also we have to look about the pest endemic and the possibility of the pest and diseases in the areas, and how we can control this pest and diseases in the area. That all the things we have to look while considering the technical aspect. And we have to also examine the marketing aspect also, the storage facilities available in the area for the output of the production or output of the project. So actually we want to assess the efficiency in the marketing, in the processing of the products. And here we have to do different types of the analysis for the technical aspect. To understand the technical aspect, we have to do different types of analysis, and for that we have to collect the data from the field, and there may be primary data, there may be secondary data. So we can conduct the soil survey for agriculture project, we can have the survey on the groundwater availability, then we can have a data on the hydrological aspect, then we can collect the data about the farmers and their profile, socioeconomic profile, and for that purpose we have to collect data using the primary survey, sometimes group discussion also we can do, and what are the current farming methods farmers are following in the area. And then we also have the information about social values, because ultimate utilization of the input or method of production is all depend upon the social value of the farmers, the clientele groups, and these values always affect the adoption of the technology in the area. And sometimes we have to also conduct the field trial to verify the data which we have collected. And if we are collecting information what the maximum possible yield in the area out of the projects, then we may conduct some field trials to verify the data about the yield optimal from the project output. Then here, what are the purpose of the technical analysis actually? So through the technical analysis we know about the extent and capacity of the physical resources for the development. So through the technical analysis we know what are the potential of the physical resources like soil, the water, the land. So we can understand the physical the potential of the resources. Then we can generate the proposal for possible development alternatives, and actually based on the technical analysis we can develop the alternative projects also, and we can collect the information to justify the selected alternatives among the various alternatives, which is a good one. Based on the technical information we can justify that. And then what are the different physical components required for the project, we can also do technical analysis. Then we can develop some development plan at the farm level. For that also we have to do the technical analysis. And the other purpose for technical analysis are we have to estimate the cost at the primary level also. So we can have the estimates of the cost. Then we can also plan the project periods or phases of the projects based on the technical information, and then we can develop the engineering aspect or designing of the projects or aspect of particularly the construction aspect. We can develop we need to do the technical analysis. And then what will be the major inputs required for economic analysis that we can collect out of the technical analysis. Then we can also design the project organization or management based on the technical analysis. What type of the expertise or managerial skills or technical skills will be required, that we can do using the project analysis. Now we will move to the second aspect, which are very important, which is the institutional aspect. Institutional aspect basically give a overall scenario or all the organizational aspect. Basically the institutional background of a project is basically the country's historical evolution. So what type of the philosophy is there in the society, in the authorities. So it is basically a historical background of the institutions, the organization workings and the government working and people they are thinking. So this institutional aspect is very much important actually to undertake the project, to develop the projects, and this institutional aspect help in providing the framework within which the project will be implemented, within which the project have to operate. So this institutional aspect basically give the information about the framework within which we have to implement, within which we have to operate the project. So in project preparation there are main tasks to identify the components of the institutional framework, like we have the government institution, we have the project authority, we have the corporate bodies, we have what type of land tenure system is there, then what are different banking and credit institutions are there, then different types of organizations are there or not, or cooperative organizations are there or not, then what type of religious customs and practices are there, what type of social values are followed by the clientele group, the target group. So all these aspects actually affect the preparation as well as the implementation of project and obtaining the desired output of the project. For that purpose we need to consider different institutional aspects. And in the institutional aspect, we have to study the government institution, what type of different government institutions are there, how they work, and so we need to understand the administrative system in the project areas. Sometimes there is a conflict between the states and tribes. There is sometimes there is a synergy between the states and centers. So we need to understand what type of the working relations exist between the state government, the central government, and sometimes within the states we have different subdivisions or departments, or even there is a hierarchy from the state capital to the village level. So we need to understand their relationship among the different departments, among the different hierarchy. So it helps in understanding the functioning, or it helps us how we will be able to implement the project in the area. And the cooperation among the different estimated department and at different levels is very much essential, and particularly at the lower level where we are going to implement the projects, it is very much essential, and the project area should be adjusted within the single administrative unit. If you want to have the project which are operated very well, for that sometimes with the objective to have that project is implemented very well, the project area may be confined to a single administrative division, maybe in particular state, or maybe in a particular district, or particular agroclimatic conditions, so that there is a management of the operationalization of the project is very well. Then second aspect under the institutional aspect, or second institutional agency is the project authority actually, and an authority is established by law that vests the project implementing agency with special power to undertake its tasks. So actually sometimes for the projects we constitute a new authority like National Rainfed Area Authority. So in the authority they have given some power to implement some project in a particular area, and they are provided with all type of powers, so that they can do all activities related to purchase, they can take all the decisions, and basically this authority they coordinate with the various government agency also to concentrate and centralize the power of the authority. And there are two parallel systems, and one is the authority is also there, new created authority is also there, another is government departments or government also there, and by creating this authority sometimes we have the advantage, like authority has all the resources and skills, they are specialized in implementing a particular type of projects. So they have the resources, they have the skills, and there is a shorter chain of command. They can easily communicate with their staffs, their lower level staffs, and so there is a shorter chain of command is there, and they always focus on the project output, because the authority is created to achieve some specific output. So they always focus on the project, but there is some disadvantage of creating the project authority, like sometimes they are not aligned with the existing administrative system. Sometimes the administration system, the government department, they not fully cooperate with the authority. So this is the disadvantage when we create the new project authority. Then the corporate entity is another institutional agency, or sometimes government create a special corporation which are needed to introduce a business approach. When the problem, the project is related to solving a problem which are of business nature, for that purpose sometimes government create the corporations, like the seed corporation, national seed corporation is there, cooperative corporation is there, and actually this they facilitate in improving the project, also making available the project funds to the private sector also, because they have the special autonomy, they take the full decisions about the project which are of the business nature. There is some investment is there, and we want to achieve some business objectives. We want to make available the resources to the farmers, we want to make available the input to the farmers, and creating there are some advantage of creating this corporation or the corporate bodies, like they are best suited to exploitation of the existing resources, because they have the some business orientation with them. They always have the profit orientation with them. So like Fisheries Development Corporation, the Processing and Marketing Corporation, there is also some advantage, because when we have the corporation bodies, we have the corporation, we need to have the sound management with the corporation. If the management is not fully motivated, we cannot, the corporation will not get the output, desired output. So that's why the management should be motivated. It should be hard working. Otherwise, there will be drain of the public resources which were allotted by the government. Then land tenure system is another institutional aspect actually, and in the ownership of the land, or land owner and the tenant relations, they always affect the they always influence the production activities in the area, the employment opportunity in the area, income distribution activity, income distribution aspect of the project also. The farm size of the land, if small farmers, the large farmers, they have different types of attitudes, they have different types of intensity of the activities, they have different types of motivation, they have different types of motivation to undertake the innovations. So all these things, the relationship between the ownership and the owners and the tenant, or types of ownerships, they always affect the the investment aspect in adopting the technology, and it ultimately they affect the production or employment, or the income distribution activities. So attitude of the attitude toward the risk taking, and then there is a difference between small farmers or large farmers. And introduction of the innovations, the managerial farming skills will be different for the small farmers or large farmers. They have different types of the skills, and so all this have some bearing on the project success, in achieving the or setting the achieving the project goals. They have impact on that. And particularly for the income distribution project, there is it is very important to identify the target beneficiaries. So for that purpose, we need to have the information related to land tenure systems and the while designing a project. Then we have to also look we have to also see about the farmers organization or cooperatives, because cooperatives, they undertake a wide variety of the activities. They undertake different types of activities, particularly they are serving the farming societies, but sometimes they say they are not able to provide in efficient way, but they have a very good relationships with the farmers. The project analysis should explore the possible role of the farmers organization or farmers cooperative they can play in implementing the project. So and they provide basically answers to many rural problems. So that's why we need to see while developing a project, what are the different types of organization, what are the different types of cooperative organization available in the area. The other type of aspects which we need to consider in the project formulation activities, in the project preparation activity, in the project implementation activities, the organizational aspect. Organization are basically the overall design and structure of the body of entity that would undertake the task of project education. So here basically when we talk about the organizational aspect, we need to consider the different aspect of the project implementation agency, the project education agency, what types of different types of project education agencies which are available, and we need to talk about we need to understand the capacity to carry out the investment, to carry out the assignment by the organizations, the project entity. And actually this organization or any agency which are going to implement the project in the area, they should attend to the institutional and legal framework of the country. So they should understand what are the different organizations available in the area, what are their powers or authorities. So we need to take all this consideration, and these organizations should also take into consideration the political and social climate of the country or the area where the project is going to implement. So all type of things, the environment around them, the social environment around them, the political environment around them, we should consider while developing the project, while formulating a project in the area. And when we talk about the organization aspect, there are three things we need to consider. First is the selecting an organizations for the implementation. There are two options. One is the existing institutions, like we have the Panchayat Raj institution, we have the DRDA, then we have different types of institutions, like we have the cooperative organization there. So there then we have some NGOs are there. So we have the option, either we can use the existing institution, or we can modify the existing institution, or also we can create new entity or new organization to implement the projects. There are two options available, and all this decision related to selecting the organization for implementation of project it depends on various factors, like the empowerment of the organization to carry out the proposed functions or proposed activities. So whether they are empowered, whether they have the capacity to carry out the activities, and whether they have the efficiency also, whether they will be able to do the activity in timely manner with the available resources, and what type of priority this organization have, whether this organization is basically to serve people in the area, or to have this organization or some business objectives, the profit orientation activity, or they have the objective to get some out of that project. So we need to consider the priorities or objective of the organization also, and whether this organization is sensitive towards the local activities, local conditions, they understand the local conditions, they understand the caste system, the religious system, and social value of the particular area. And also while selecting the project, actually we need to also understand the urgency of the project. If the project is only for short period of time, like 3 months or 4 months, to resolve some new problems or suits or relation we have to do with the existing institution, or if the project is of 5-year duration or 6-10 years duration, we can create some new agency. That is the possibility is there. And how this organization is independent to the government bureaucracy. Actually, sometimes there is a lot of political interference in the organization, so they cannot take independent decisions. So also we need to consider how they are independent to the different government bureaucracy. Then there is also we need to consider the internal organization, how the what type of internal structures of the organization there, how they are functioning with their, whether they have the, there are different types of people, there are different hierarchies there in the organization. So whether they have the clear line of authority from the top to bottoms, they know each hierarchy, they understand their roles, their responsibilities, they understand their authority or not, and whether they have the responsibility, they have some assigned work, but whether they have the authority to take decisions about the implementation of that assignment. So whether they have the decision making powers, and whether they have the flexibility in taking the decisions according to changing conditions. So all these aspects actually they very much affect the output of that organization. The beneficiary participants, how this organization are able to motivate the client, the target groups in participation of in the project activity. That is also another aspect when we should consider in the project preparation. Then there are management aspect actually, and when we do activity, when we implement the project actually, so it is very important to consider the management aspect involved with the projects. So to implement the project's objective within the framework of the organization structure provided to the projects. This is very important, and sometimes a good management can make a deficient organization structure work. Even the organization structure is not good, but if management is very much very good, very effective, they can undertake the activity in very effective way. So management aspect is always very good. And there are some consideration when we design the project, or particularly the management aspect of the projects, like the definition of the objectives. So what type of the objectives the management is having, whether management is having to objective to serve the people, or whether the management is having the objective of getting some profit out of that project activity, and whether they have the allocation of responsibility to various agencies, associations. Then they have also need to consider the coordination of the activities. We need to develop a suitable mechanism for coordination of activity of participating agencies, and then also we need to consider the staffing of the project aspects. So, and finding a good managers or skilled or semi-skilled worker, it is always very much important. And then social aspect is also very much important, because in the development projects or development activity or development plan, actually, though we need to not only see the financial aspect, but we need to see the social aspect. Actually, ultimate objective is to what are the socio-economic development of the society. So, assessment of social pattern, the custom, the culture, tradition, habits of the clientele of the project, these are very much important while considering while developing the new project. And there are many social implications that may be possible out of the project, like there is a change in the living standards, change in the material welfare, the change in the consumption habit, and there is a change in the income distribution effects. So we need to consider all this social aspect, and particularly is there any adverse effect from the project on the areas or particular groups that we have to see, and there should be no adverse environmental impact, and and there is no disturbance to some scenic attraction or some wildlife habitats is there in the area. There should be no adverse effect on them. And we have to also the multiplier effect. Outside the project area, what kind of the impact will be there out of this new project. So we need to also consider that sometime. And the commercial aspect is very much important. Actually, here we see the arrangement for marketing of the output of the projects, and also we also see the supply of the input to build and operate the project, whether inputs are available or not in the area. And we also see the effective demand. Sometimes when we are developing some new project, we are implementing some project, a new product created, and whether the product has the demand in the area or not, or sometimes demand is there but people do not have the purchasing power. So actually the demand should be empowered with the purchasing power also. So then only we are able to sell the product in the market. So, and also we have to see the market capacity to absorb the excess production, because out of the project there will be new production, additional production. So market is able to absorb that new production, and what will be the impact on the price of the products due to the new production. And then we have to see the viability of the project under the change price structure, because there will be price competition. So under the change price condition, whether our product will be viable or not. And we have to also see whether the marketing channel is there or not. That is also very much important. And the financial aspect is also very much important. It's here actually we measure the financial viability of the project, and there will be a number of beneficiaries and participating agency in the project area. And then so that's we need to assess the impact on the beneficiaries, or this assessment is varies from person to person, from the agency to agency. So actually we want to know, we want to understand the ultimate beneficiary, what is the impact of that new project. So here we need to assess the impact on the farmers, intermediate institutions like agricultural bank, the development cooperatives, or at the center level or center government also we need to assess the impact of the financial aspects. And the farmers have different objectives, and actually when we assess the financial positions of the entrepreneurs or farmers, we assess the different type of incentive they are getting from the projects, or we also assess the viability at the farmers level, and we also assess the capacity of the borrower farmers. If you are have some new project for the installation of the new machinery, whether they will be able to repay the to the bank or not, to the lending agency or not. So, and then here we also assess the contribution of the beneficiaries in the project cost. So, if they are contributing something like in the watershed project, the beneficiary also contribute about 5% of the cost. So, in that manner we also assess whether the beneficiary will be able to support the cost of the project or not, and then we also assess the financial aspect at the central level, at the government levels, also in designing the financial plan for the projects, whether the government is having sufficient money or how much they have to distribute over the period, and what will be the impact on the government budget in terms of expenditure, in terms of income generation activity out of the project. So, these are the activities, these are the aspects we need to assess while formulating the project. And the last is the economic aspect. Actually, analysis give the quantitative estimates of the project's impacts on the national economy. This tool is employed actually post facto to justify the project already selected and designed. So, when we have already selected a project, we have already designed a project. So, what will be the impact of this project on the society as a whole, as a nation as a whole. So, here not a individual approach, we see with the point of the a nation, a country, a region as a whole, and we see what will be the impact of this project on their socio-economic condition, on their economy. So, here we are able to identify a good project which give maximum return to the society as a whole. So, here this is basically a test of a minimal acceptable rate of return to the economy, and it also help in determination of the likelihood from the projects, and also it helps in justifying the use of scarce resources. We have the limited resources, so where to invest these scarce resources. So, from the economic analysis we will be able to know where we can use these scarce resources, and in this project, in this economic aspect, actually we undertake the view from the society as a whole, not an individual person. So, as a society, what will be impact of this project? This is this we consider while we preparing a project. Now we can sum up the this session that there are different types of the aspect which need to consider while preparing a project, like technical analysis. So, here we assess the viability of the project, physical viability of the project in terms of input and output. Then we have to see the institutional aspect, the organizational aspect, of managerial aspect, whether whether a particular project which can be implemented, whether the institutional support is there, whether the required managerial capacity is there, whether the required staffing is there or not. So, all this is very much important to implement the project. Then social aspect, particularly the culture, the values of the society where we are going to implement the project. Then commercial aspect, the marketing facility is available or not, and whether sufficient market we have, and whether the target group is there, whether the effective demand for the product is there or not, whether the marketing channel is there or not. So, all these aspects we consider. Then we also consider the financial aspect and the cost or benefit from the project, and then economic aspect lastly, particularly see the impact of the project on a complete society, as a whole society, what will be the impact on the complete society. Thank you very much.